Modern logistics infrastructure, we have seen Golden Quadrilateral. Golden Quadrilateral is a network of highways connecting the 4 metropolitan cities of the country. Okay, you have to remember which are those metropolitan cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. Then after that, we have seen Logistics Park, which is a one-stop solution for all the logistical requirements, where you can find all the logistic services at one place, like transportation, warehousing, maintenance, everything at one place. Means all the utilities and facilities are available at one location. Then we have some deep water ports, dedicated freight corridor, ICDs or CFS, inland container depots and container freight stations. Then we were discussing about maritime logistics. Let's go through that. What is maritime logistics? Yes. Maritime logistics refers to the logistical activities which are happening in the water bodies like sea, ocean and all. There is movement of cargo and people using the waterways. And we should remember that this is one of the oldest means of transporting people and goods, and more than 80% of the work trade is carried out by sea only. It is considered as traditionally as one of the primary means of transportation. So maritime logistic involves planning, performing of sending a shipment, sending a consignment by sea or any other waterways from the point of origin to the point of destination, that too at a reasonable cost. One advantage of this waterways is that it is very cheap. But one very important disadvantage is that it is slow as well. It will take days for the consignment to reach the destination. But it is available at a lower cost, reasonable cost. And introduction of containerization also has revolutionized maritime transport. Containerization means where you can send the goods in large units. It is very important or very helpful for transnational transportation or with beyond the country or international or foreign or global transportation. We can say that maritime logistics is quite relevant and useful now. One major concern which is mentioned here is pricing pirate attacks, especially in certain parts of the world, African, in some other places. We can say that there is rising pirate attack. Pirate attack, I hope you know, where smugglers, thieves and all will be attacking, will be specifically focusing on ships and such vessels. Okay. So maritime logistics is nothing but logistical activity which is happening in the waterway, that is planning and performance of sending a consignment or a shipment by sea and other waterways from the point of origin to the point of destination at a reasonable cost. Then double stack containers. Double stack containers means one above the other. All of you might have seen the double-decker bus. All of you might have seen, very common here in Mumbai. So double stack container is a form of intermodal freight transport where two containers are stacked on rail car. It was introduced in North America in 1984. In India, it was operational from Jaipur Pipavav route, which became operational in March 2006. What is done over here? Using this double stack technology, a freight train of a given length can carry roughly twice as many containers because it is kept one above the other. And this will help in reducing the cost per container. It is easy to keep it one above the other, and anyway the transportation charges will be incurring. So overall we can say that this will help in reducing the cost. The double stack container service is expected to boost the transportation of import-export goods. At present, Indian Railways carry an estimated 34 million tons of goods in double stack containers. Double stack means one above the other. Then, unit train. Unit train is also known as a block train. It is a train in which all cars or wagons carry the same commodity and are shipped from the same origin to the same destination without splitting up in between or without stopping anywhere. This saves time, money, as well as the hassle, delay, or any confusion associated with assembling and disassembling of the trains at all rail yards. It also enables the railways to compete more effectively with road and water transport, but it is economically viable only for high volume customers, because it is mentioned here now in every wagon the same item only it should be there. So unit trains are usually used for transportation of bulky goods like coal, iron ore, crude oil, cars, etc. Also known as block train, in which all the car here means the wagons, the train wagons, it will be carrying the same commodity from the point of origin to the point of destination without any break in between, without being split up anywhere. So it is a continuous journey. The point here, what to be noted here is that it is useful only when there is large volume of goods or large volume of any type of goods, but large bulky, large volume of goods. Then there is another infrastructure very commonly found, cold chain storage, and very commonly found and quite convenient also. Cold chain storage, very useful one. It is a logistical system that provides a series of facilities for maintaining ideal temperature storage condition for perishables from the point of origin to the point of consumption in the supply chain. See, there will be different type of products. Some of them might be perishable. Perishable means which is getting damaged very easily, which may get damaged very fast. Like we can say food items, flowers, and there will be some special medicines and all, which should be stored in this particular temperature and all, isn't it? So cold chain system can be used in such cases where transportation of temperature sensitive products can be done by protecting the quality of these products. It is used to extend and ensure that the shelf life of the product is not affected, or and it also ensures that the product, the freshness of the product is kept intact. Fresh agricultural produce, frozen goods, chemicals, vaccines, pharmaceutical drugs and all, they need such type of cold chain storage facility. But one thing which to be remembered is that a cold chain should never be broken. Never be broken in the sense origin se destination tak it should have the same temperature. Otherwise, there will not be any use of that. A well-organized cold chain reduces spoilage, retains the quality of the product which is to be transported. So it can happen, or it can work out if it is consisting of pre-cooling facilities, cold storages, refrigerated carriers, packaging, warehousing. In all these stages, we should see that the temperature is intact. It is said that around 30% of the fruits and vegetables grown in India get wasted annually due to insufficient cold storage facility. Only 2% of Indian products get this cold storage facility, in contrast to 15% and 85% in Europe and North America. So stage one, from the initial stage itself till it is reaching the customer's hand, this temperature should be kept intact. That can be done by having this cold chain storage facility. There should be pre-cooling facility, means before itself. Then after that should be kept in cold storages with refrigerated carriers. Then packaging should be in such a way. Sometimes with some medicines and all, some vaccines and all, there will be an ice box type aate hain. That is in order to keep the temperature in properly, in order to maintain the temperature. Then in warehousing centers also we need accordingly the cold chain facilities. Otherwise, that is why it's mentioned over, it should never be broken. If it is not there in any one of the place, the entire system will be getting affected. Entire products will be getting damaged. So logistics plus temperature control, that is basically cold chain logistics. So here you can see the advantages. It helps to reduce the cost due to adequate availability of the product, improve product integrity because it is fresh, and the shelf life of the product is also extended. Increases customer satisfaction by making available at the right time, right condition, reduce wastage and return of expired stock. Because if it is not well maintained, or if it is not well kept in the temperature settings, there are chances that the product will get expired, and there is no other way. If it is expired, like medicines and all, or any product, we are not supposed to use it after the expiry date. Then what happens? It is completely getting wasted. So cold chain facility actually helps in overcoming these issues. Same time, there are certain disadvantages also. It is suitable for large enterprises with high investment and maintenance cost. It may not be suitable for smaller firms. Of course, then they will have to take it for rent, and those things they will have to work out on that. Moreover, business using a cold storage facility will have to face issues with accessibility. If the storage facility is not located near to where you want it, you may need to arrange a refrigerated truck, and then you will have to transport your goods. This all will incur extra cost. Same way, cold chain facility would not work if there is a power shortage in a particular area. It's quite understood because it's working with the help of electricity. So these are certain disadvantages. But one thing is that it is if the freshness, the shelf life and all can be extended for the perishable goods. Perishable goods include flowers, fresh fruits, fresh agricultural produce, frozen food, chemicals, drugs, medicines, vaccines, all these things. Drugs in the sense pharmaceutical drugs we are talking about here. Vaccines and all. Every time that temperature should be maintained. Hope it is clear. So this much is about modern logistics infrastructure. Okay. So we will see from the beginning. Modern logistic infrastructure consisted of Golden Quadrilateral, logistic parks, deep water ports, dedicated freight corridor, inland container depot, container freight stations, maritime logistics. Then double stack containers means one above the other. Unit train exclusively for one type of commodity. Cold chain storage for managing the temperature settings. This you see once again. What is this CFS? And what is the difference between these two? I'll show it once more. Inland container depots, ICDs and CFS. Both are same. Function wise, both are same. Okay. But what is the difference here? The difference is that one is located near the service port. One is located near the interior areas. The main difference between a CFS and an ICD is that CFS is an off-dock facility situated near the service port. CFS is near the service port. ICD is generally in the interior part. Otherwise, functionally, there is no major difference between ICD and CFS. These are situated near ports. One that is CFS is near the ports, ICD is in the interior. What is the purpose? Purpose is in helping managing the containers which are reaching at their point and helping the people in loading, unloading, recording the goods, packing the stuff, all those things, packing, de-stuffing and all. Okay, so this is ICD and CFS. So I hope all the contents are clear to everyone.